Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there lived a girl whose most prized possession was a hooded cloak made of red silk, given to her by her grandmother. The girl came to be known as Little Red Riding Hood, as she wore it often. One summer afternoon, her mother said to her, "Please take these chocolate chip cookies to your grandmother. She is not feeling well, and I baked this to cheer her up. She would love to see you too." Always eager to please her mother, the little girl grabbed the basket full of cookies and ran out the door. As she disappeared from view, her mother called out, "And don't go into the woods!" But the girl did not hear her mother's final words and skipped merrily on her way. As she neared the wood's edge, she thought to herself, "What a good idea! I shall take a shortcut through these woods and get to grandmother's house faster." She then entered the forest. As she went deeper and deeper into the woods, the narrow pathway got smaller and smaller and darker. She could hear the snapping of twigs nearby and the scampering of small animals afoot. Suddenly, a wolf popped up in front of her. Being so innocent, the girl did not know how to be scared. "Good day to you, little girl," he cooed to her slyly. "How are you, Mr. Wolf?" she cooed in return. "Where are you off to?" he asked her. "Off to grandmother's house with a basket of cookies to cheer her up," she said. "Where does she live?" the wolf asked. She described the route in great detail to the wolf, who then thought to himself how tasty 2 humans would be instead of just one. The wolf then bade Little Red Riding Hood farewell and scampered through the woods until he reached grandmother's house. Using his sweetest voice, he wheedled the elderly woman into opening the door, and then he immediately devoured her. He went to her bedroom, drew the curtains, and put on her clothing, complete with bonnet and spectacles, and jumped in her bed with the covers halfway up his face. Shortly thereafter, Little Red Riding Hood walked into the bedroom suspicious, having found the front door wide open. There lay her grandmother in bed in the darkest room, looking very strange with her bonnet pulled tightly over her head. "My grandmother, what big ears you have," she cooed. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "What big eyes you have, grandmother," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with, my dear," the wolf answered. "Grandmother, what large hands you have," she said. The wolf cooed. "All the better to hug you with." "Oh, grandmother, what a terribly big mouth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to eat you with, dearie," said the wolf, and with that he grabbed her and swallowed her whole. With 2 people inside his tummy, the great wolf lay down on the bed, very full and satisfied. Within minutes, he fell asleep, snoring very loudly. A passing huntsman heard loud snores coming from the cottage and decided to stop in to make sure grandmother was okay. To his great surprise, he found the wolf in grandmother's bed fast asleep. Just as the huntsman was about to take aim with his weapon and strike the sleeping wolf dead, he had a thought. Perhaps grandmother was inside the wolf's hugely enlarged stomach. He drew his sword and cut the wolf's belly open, where Little Red Riding Hood and the grandmother rested. He pulled them out by the hand and then slew the wolf on the spot. Delighted, the 3 went their separate ways, the huntsman taking the wolf's skin with him, the grandmother munching on her freshly baked cookies, and Little Red Riding Hood on her way back home, promising never to set foot in the woods again.